In the name of Allah, today we are going to discuss the large intestine. In the picture, you can see the parts of the large intestine, the cecum that is having appendix at its one end, you can see it. Then after the cecum, this is a cecum, then you can see this is the ascending colon. Then you can visualize the transverse colon, then comes the descending colon. Then you can address the sigmoid colon and finally the rectum ending up to the anal canal. These are the parts of large intestine you would learn. First of all, we are gonna discuss the few function of your large intestine. The large intestine has to do the major function of absorption of water and electrolytes. Why? Because all the contents that are being added to your food are now taken as a nutrients, and now we are supposed to get rid of the semi-solid, you would say, fecal material from our body. And the next main function of your large intestine is the secretion of mucus. Why it is required? Because it protects your mucosa inside from the erosive action of the semi-solid fecal material. Now what next? We expect no more digestive enzymes to be secreted inside. And what else we find here? There are normal gut flora that lives inside, and they facilitate your digestive process by decomposing your food material. And finally, the smaller products of your digestion are being absorbed by the inner epithelial lining cells. But of course, there are enteroendocrine cells that are meant to produce some gastrointestinal hormones. And among your bacterial flora, why they are present? They are sometimes supposed to produce many vitamins. Can you name them? Let me tell you, they are B2 and B6 and B12, which is riboflavin, thiamine, and cyanocobalamin. And in addition to this, vitamin K. These are supposed to be produced by the normal bacterial flora of your large intestine. Now, for this study purpose, we will learn about the histological features of your colon. Definitely the sigmoid, ascending, transverse, descending, and sigmoid column, cecum, plus, and compare their differences with that of your rectum. So concentrate first on the colon, the cecum, the cut section. You can see all the regular 4 coatings would be there. The innermost is the mucosa. You can visualize here, this is the mucosa, and next to it definitely will be the submucosa. The third there is the muscularis externa, and finally serosa or adventitia wherever they are required. Now we have to see something different, that the large intestine is a little bit lesser coiled than that of the small intestine you studied previously. And what next? It is much wider in its diameter. And you find what important thing on the colon. Let me show you. There are a special strip-like band, flattened band called as tinea coli. They are present on the colon. And you see that these tinea coli are absent on the rectum. Now, another important gross feature is the presence of this appendices epiploica or omental appendages. What are they? They are basically made up of so many adipose tissue. So these are the things you observe at a glance on that picture of large intestine. Now this is the transverse section of your colon. So we will start learning it from the lumen. These are the part or first layer called as mucosa. We will discuss it, that it has got epithelial lining, and you can see the deep indented so many simple tubular glands which are crypts of Langerhans. Now you observe another thing here, that the mucosa is thrown into various folds, and these folds are temporary one. When it is getting its distension, you would say, when it gets distended, these temporary foldings will go away. Now what we see next, after that we observe the lamina propria in between the mucosal gland, you would say, and the pink lining, this is the muscularis mucosae, definitely made up of inner circular and outer longitudinal. Next to it, the second layer is the submucosa, and the third layer is which is special, you would say, is the muscularis externa. What you observe in this cut section, that the inner circular layer is definitely complete and present all around in the same thickness, you can see. But what is special about the outer longitudinal layer? We mentioned that tinea coli are present. These are present as a thick pillar-like structure on the three sides of your colon. You can observe. They could be appearing as a flattened, vertically running longitudinal muscle fibers, definitely of smooth muscles, and in between the muscular layer is very much thin or sometimes discontinuous. So you should keep in mind the description of tinea coli. Now let me show you another important thing, that the tinea coli on the gross look are looking like as a flattened band in between the walls of the large intestine. What they are doing? They are of smaller length, you would say, in comparison to the length of your intestine. So what is gonna happen? They are like an elastic, are putting the circulation to your large intestine. You can see the out pocketing or circulations on the both sides. They are also called as haustration due to the tonic contraction of the tinea coli being innervated by the sacral spinal nerves of parasympathetic division, and they are producing a typical look of your large intestine as a circulation on the both sides of the tinea coli. Now we have taken a chunk or a piece of large intestine and we are looking into its mucosa first. You can see the surface view, you can see the lumen of various glands. The epithelium is simple columnar and is dipping downwards to form longer simple tubular glands. They are reaching the full thickness of your mucosa and they are lined by which cells? You can see the enterocytes or colonocytes, sometimes it is called, and what they are simple columnar cells. They are meant for the absorption of water and electrolytes. Then you can see another variety, important one, the goblet cells. They are present here to produce mucus, to provide lubrication and protect your mucosa from aberrations. The third variety is enteroendocrine, to produce hormones. And of course, if we can see some stem cells, they are supposed to meant for regeneration of rest of the population to maintain their number. And what else you find in this diagram, that the mucosa of the large intestine is not showing the villi, not showing the plica circularis. So the things you observed in small intestine are no more there, except the crypts of Langerhans or the simple tubular glands. Now comes toward the lamina propria. Lamina propria present in between these glands and are showing the all regular feature of connective tissue, having macrophages, plasma cells, lymphocyte. Rather, you can visualize a large lymphatic nodule, a solitary lymphatic nodule. Sometimes diffuse lymphoid tissue is also present and it is trying to pierce your muscularis mucosae and trying to enter into your submucosa. This is of course the muscularis mucosae, and this is the submucosal layer that will be showing valvascularity. And if the nerve element you find here is the Meissner nerve plexus. Now another important thing we have to mention, that the part of the colon which are intraperitoneal, the peritoneum is a thin covering inside. The intraperitoneal part you mention as transverse colon is surrounded by serosa, and other retroperitoneal parts of your colon which are behind, retro means behind the peritoneum, are the what parts? Ascending colon and descending colon. They are surrounded by the adventitia. And what else? These I would like to show you again. The appendices epiploica, you can visualize. These are present where? Actually, the serosa of your colon is showing the presence of these numerous protuberance called appendices epiploica, which are the collection of adipose tissue here. In this histological view, you can see, let me show you the mucosa with the tubular glands. And let me tell you, the ratio of the columnar cells to that of the goblet cells in colon is, you would say, 4:1. Means if 4 columnar cells are there, the next comes the 1 goblet cell. So ratio is 4:1. And you can visualize the important feature, the tinea coli, in this outer muscularis externa layer being formed by the outer longitudinal layer. Now this is another enlarged view to show you the glandular development, and you can see that how the number of goblet cells are supposed to be increased from the colon, and they becomes maximum in the rectum. These empty looking cells are the goblet cells, you would say, and this is a larger lymphatic nodule. You are looking into the lamina propria. Now we have to learn the rectum. This is the longitudinal cut section of the rectum. Rectum is also showing 2 to 3 permanent transverse folds. And why they are permanent word is I am using, because whenever it is distended or undistended, these permanent foldings remain in their position like that of the plica circularis of small intestine. Okay, what else you do not find here? Definitely the things that are not present here are the tinea coli is not a part of it, the appendices epiploica is not a part of it, and definitely inside all the features which you expect in the small intestine are definitely not here, like villi are not here, and other plica circularis are not here, and you can visualize the thing we have to. Now we are looking into a histological section of the rectum. Rectum is addressing mucosal folds which are permanent, and from the lumen towards the mucosa we can see simple tubular glands coming from the surface epithelium, and epithelium of course again is lined with the same cells like the tall columnar cells, the goblet cells, the enteroendocrine, and the stem cells, because the number of replication and the stem cells is much more, and their turnover rate is also much more, and the number of goblet cell is maximum here. You can see the glands present in its full thickness up to the mucosa you can find, and the lymphatic nodule you can also observe similar to that of the colon. And in its muscularis externa, the thing you have noticed that the inner circular layer is also continuous and is of even thickness, and outer longitudinal layer is also of even thickness because tinea coli are no more there, and on its very outer side there is adventitia. These are the features you will observe in the rectum. A few more pictures of your large intestine. This is typically portion of the large intestine, you can see the tinea coli. You can visualize the haustration on both sides, and in cut section you find the inner mucosa in this picture. And let me move towards next diagram. This is a beautiful picture of your intestine, large one, showing the simple tubular glands reaching to the full thickness of the muscularis mucosae and well lined with that of the columnar and goblet cells. And in the rectum, the proportion or ratio of the columnar to the goblet cell is 1:1, means one columnar cell, then one goblet cell, one columnar and one goblet cell. This is the electron microscopic picture of the surface view of the mucosa of large intestine. The holes are showing the mouth of the gland inside. Let me share you the slide of the rectum, which you find in your examination. Usually the simple tubular glands are there, and reaching to the full thickness, closer together, muscularis mucosae. You can see this is submucosa, and these are the muscularis externa, both layers. This is the slide of a colon. The area, let me mark. This is the mucosa having the gland. This is submucosa, and these are the muscularis externa. And this is a schematic representation of a colon, in which the thing we have to learn are the simple tubular glands in the mucosa, the lymphatic nodule. The submucosa is showing well vascularity, and the important feature here, the inner circular and outer longitudinal. This one is forming the tinea coli, a thickened one. At the end, I have to compare the three pictures of the stomach, small intestine and large intestine. Stomach is showing the branched tubular glands, and the small intestine are showing the surface modification with that of the villi. And large intestine, you can find the simple tubular glands in its whole thickness of the mucosa.